today. We pray, Lord, you be with us through our meeting this evening. So give us safe passage home afterwards, and all this we ask in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen. Turn the mics on. All right, roll call.
Gage Carter.
Here.
Brandon Blaylock.
Here.
Stephen Williamson.
Here.
Karen Crothers.
Here.
John Heflin.
Here.
Jesse Young.
Here.
I think.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve the April 22nd regular meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the April 22nd regular meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Department heads, police department.
For the month of April, we had 450 calls for service. May so far, we had 192 for 1889 for year to date. Had one criminal trespass, one driving while license suspended, 6 careless prohibited that's on that intersection down there.
Chief, is
For
that-
the most part.
Is that mic on, chief? Please, sorry about that.
Now,
Thank you.
one government, obstructing governmental operations. We've had 8 case reports, 3 MVC reports, and we have 1 investigation ongoing, which we've executed 5 search warrants on, and that's still pending yet. We're having an issue with Amazon. We're having to get the judge to basically give a motion to compel on that. We've had 119 citations from Pottsville, 37 from the Arkansas State Police. Had 68 warrants served, 84 failure to appear warrants issued, 57 failure to pay warrants issued. Trainings, we have had 160 hours of miscellaneous training for the month. They included advanced roadside impaired driving enforcement of 16 hours. Had Jared Ellis and Michael Hardy both attend that. Had Kobe Brewer attended field training officer certification in Camden. It was 40 hours. Had a computer forensics class, router interrogation, 8 hours, and that was myself and Jared Huffman went to that. And we had your quarterly firearms training completed, 8 hours, and pretty much all officers have completed. The others will complete it shortly. Income so far for the month has been $22,350.35. One thing I did not include on here that I want to tell you about is I told you that we had applied for a grant for $7,400 for our evidence software, and we were awarded that. So,
Any questions?
What, on the careless prohibited driving, is everybody getting trained? Because it seems like that number was 20 last month.
yeah, you've had a lot of the guys have been in training this month since the 22nd, and we've had one of the ones that was really pressing that issue has been tied up with a felony investigation that's taking precedence over that intersection.
Anything else? Thank you, sir. Fire department.
Good evening. So I wanted to give you a snapshot of the total month of April on the call volume, and it was 14 medical calls, 1 motor vehicle collision, and 4 fire calls. And then also wanted to give you a rolling total for the month from last meeting to this meeting. So it does look a little different. It's 21 calls versus 19, and it's almost flip-flop. The medical calls are 8, fire calls are 10, motor vehicle collisions 1. You'll see assistance calls. Those are just road obstructions. Typically, it's either a premium protein product truck that has sloshed something out on the road, and the highway police calls us to clean it up, or like right now, they're going out on a road obstruction with some limbs down and some power lines down. I wanted to give you a little snapshot of what the mutual aid looks like. Auto Aid, we have agreements with Atkins and a couple other smaller departments, and also with Russellville. And so in the month of April, we gave mutual aid or automatic mutual aid twice. Once was to Atkins Fire Department, once was to Russellville Fire Department. And then we received mutual aid from one department, which was Atkins, and we were able to cancel them before they made the scene. One of the things that I wanted to do is provide you an update, just a summarization of expenses that have been made since the last meeting. I don't know if that's been done in the past, but that's something I'd like to do to get out every council meeting. It's not that much, but just give you an idea of expenditures. One of the things that I've done with Ms. Jordan is I've come up with an expenditure form that I'm keeping up with each expense, whether it's, even if it's just for a stapler. That way auditors come in and they want to see it. They've got a full expenditure form that we'll be able to provide. It just kind of looks like this in my file folder, and then the receipt goes along with it. So I want to be able to make that available to you guys every council meeting if possible. There was a few things I just titled issues, information, and concern. Two of the things kind of deal with recruitment for volunteer fire service, and they don't add much expense to the taxpayers. One, and it does increase the service level. One of the things that I wanted to bring up was EMT tuition. I've got a couple of firefighters that are interested in taking the EMT course. Maximum, the tuition for EMT is $1,000. Some institutions, depending on where you can go, it may be as little as $500. There's often a lot of financial aid and or scholarships made available. But I just kind of wanted to kick the idea around if we do have some interested candidates to maybe offer financial support through some sort of contracted agreement that they would provide a level of service for us for a certain amount of time for, say, $250 that we give, $500. So that's just something that I kind of wanted to bring up to see what the thoughts would be on maybe doing in the future. The other one that kind of involves recruitment, traditionally we've paid firefighters per call, per meeting, but that doesn't start until after their 6-month probation. And I also wanted to bring up the idea of maybe starting that at or some point during their probationary period, just to be able to get a little bit more retention, recruitment, and interest in the department. Like I said, it would, it's $15 for a medical call, but they won't be going on medical calls until they've been trained, and then $19 for fire calls. So that's another one that I wanted to talk about. I talked to the mayor about our turnout gear. I've went through and done a complete inventory of the turnout gear. The NFPA standard for firefighter protective clothing says that the clothing or the PPE is good for 10 years from the date of manufacture. By May of next year, all of ours, we have a few sets that are, well, let me just go back and say, we are currently using sets that do not meet the NFPA standard because of the time lapse. This time next year, all of our structural and wildline protective clothing will be beyond its service life. So, I was looking at the budget, and there's a capital line item that I was hoping that I could explore getting some quotes to see how much it would cost to get 15 sets. And then the few sets that we would have that, and it may take 6 months, it may not even work, but we would still have a few sets in reserve that we could use for a little while. But, so I wanted to see if I could move forward or what the process was to go ahead and get quotes for being able to do that. Another thing I brought up, I've been doing a lot of spring cleaning over there. Unfortunately, it's been 30 different springs that I'm cleaning up behind. And I've gotten to the point where there's, just like some of the equipment that I was talking about, we've got pagers, radios, and turnout gear that's 30 years old. and I wanted to be able to just toss it. It's not on any asset list. It's not something that we can give to another department. It has zero use, zero value. It's taking up space, and that's where the spiders like to hide. And I'd like to get rid of the spiders if I'm gonna spend a lot of time there. So if that's something I just wanted to bring up that I'm looking at doing. One of the things that I wanted to do was I looked when the mayor talked to me about filling in this position and potentially moving forward. I wanted to take a look at what has been spent and what it was spent on. So I spent a day with Miss Jordan. We went through all the records. And one of the other things that we were doing was going through LOPFI, the retirement system. And we did discover that there's been a couple of errors with LOPFI. One of them being a member that got hired or came on the department in June of 2019. His retirement account has never been started with LOPFI. The previous two fire chiefs somehow overlooked that, and so we're talking about 5 years payment plus penalties to catch him up. And then there was one other firefighter that came on in July of 2022 that's in the same scenario. So that's something that we're going to have to do. I just wanted you guys to be aware of it because it's probably going to be, guesstimating $5,000 or $6,000 that we were not, planning for as far as lot fee expenses goes. The only other thing that I had that are concerns of mine that I've discovered the last 30 days that I've been trying to work through is we've developed some significant roof leaks over here at the central fire station. Initially, it was just in the apparatus bay, and you can put buckets and move trucks and clean up. But now I'm starting to see some in the kitchen area and the meeting room, and it's starting to affect some of the sheetrock. So I was wanting to see if I could also start the process of maybe looking to see if I could get some repairs made on the roof. Outside of that, we've got 15 active members right now. 12 are active, 2 are probationary, 1 auxiliary, and then that gives us a total of 15. So I'm going to keep you updated on that every month too, if possible. Any questions from me?
As far as the trash and outdated equipment, if everybody else is fine, get rid of it.
Okay.
That's, I don't know if we need to vote on it, but it's
I don't think, like
If it
it's not
needs
on
to
the
go
fixed
away.
assets, I think it'll be fine.
trash it.
As far as the turnouts, yeah, definitely.
As far as the roof goes, is it a repair or replace?
Well, I don't know because I've asked, have we ever had anyone really take a good hard look at it? And I don't know that we have.
I'd say let's get some estimates and opinions on it.
Okay.
Look at it.
Didn't cost anything to get an estimate.
No, that's right.
Exactly, I don't know if anybody ever looking at it
Yeah.
professionally, so.
First thing to do is check the gutters, because they're just full of
Right.
aprons and leaves, and it'll just run in on
Okay.
the bottom side. And typically with those, galvanized R-panel roof, the screws lose the rubber around it seals it.
And it starts leaking around those.
You could replace all those with a better grade and probably help you a whole lot,
Okay.
unless the rust is already set in it.
We get somebody to come out and take a look at it, they should be able to tell us that's part of the problem. As old as I don't remember when that building was built. Sam, by chance? I know it's over 30 years old, I know.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
We're not
You
supposed
know.
to discuss ages here, Randy.
Well, it's for me, as far
Yeah,
as
But
the,
no, I don't know if it's ever even,
as far as the probationary period, folks, if you're on the fire department, you're on the fire department.
I agree. That's
you're
that's-
making the time to
that's the
go.
way I see it too.
I
You're
think that's in your ordinance or your bylaws, so you'll need to change
Right,
your
right,
bylaws,
yeah.
yeah.
I think if you're gonna go out and fight a fire or go on call, it shouldn't get punished for it.
right. I agree.
I'm for about everything you said, and I mean, as far as the retirement goes, are people that are in question, are they still on the fire department?
Yes, they are.
We definitely
No
can
no
get
lapse
that.
of service or any. Yeah, I look.
Whatever it takes to get them caught up, because it's doing the right thing.
Right.
Yeah, they definitely deserve that, so
I
they've
know-
done their time, so.
I talked to Brad about it, and he said that this had happened one time before, and I just wanted to make sure everybody knew what was going on
Yeah.
before it.
That's
before it
another
come
thing
up.
me and Franny talked about also, is gonna get with you, make sure everybody goes into their lot fee
Right.
and make sure everything's
So,
updated.
so that's how we sat down and I was walking everybody through it, because if you have a lot fee account, all you need is your social security number. And so we had those two that,
Didn't have one.
that, you know, they kept putting it in, and it's like, you need to call us. And so that's when, Ms. Jordan and I got, into the account itself, and that's not something that, the fire chief is the one that goes in and sets up those applications. So it's incumbent upon the fire chief to do this, no one else. Now, she removes them.
Right.
So, so once they retire, they leave, they term out, you know, she separates them from lot fee when she separates them from the payroll system. So, so yeah, I mean, it's an area that, you know, it's probably gonna cost us $5,000 or $6,000.
But they deserve it.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They put in their time.
I mean, we would have paid it
You know,
Yes.
minus the penalties anyways,
Right.
you know, but I knew when it
It's
come
owed
up.
to them.
Right, right, I
And we
wanted
need
to
to
make
make
sure
it right.
everybody knew, and they both know, and we're getting them entered into the system. Well, one of them should have got his done last night, and the other one I'm meeting with this weekend to do, so.
As far as expense on the gear, let's just get a quote and do it.
Okay,
We gotta have a number to vote on to.
right,
You know,
right.
if it's not in the budget. If it's in the budget, great.
right.
If it's not in the budget.
Well, I mean, there is that line item for, the capital expenses for $100,000 that we hadn't touched this year. I was thinking maybe some of that could probably go to it. I'm anticipating $2,500 a set by the time, and that's just shooting off the cuff. I may be off $300 or $400, but.
It's probably cheap. I think there's that several years ago when they bought them.
Yeah, well, so what I'm gonna try to, I've got two options. I'm gonna try to hedge what Russellville has done with one of the vendors to maybe get a better deal. And then also, I spoke with the logistics supply person that's over Memphis that does their purchasing of 100 sets every month, you know, on trying to maybe get in to get a better deal, you know, going through, getting on a package with somebody like that. So maybe it'll work, I don't know. But I'm figuring $2,500 at the very least, so.
Would it be beneficial going forward, have like a rolling plan to
Oh,
try to get
absolutely, yes.
So a few each year and
Right.
then. okay.
At that point, you can put it in your yearly budget.
And then put it in
Right.
your yearly
And,
budget and
and,
go from there.
and that's what we, you know, when I sat down and started going through it all, I was really kind of disheartened because there's some turnout gear now. Granted, it's for guys that are as big as a house, that is in the storage room, brand new, never been worn, but we never had anybody to use that. And so, and it expired, its service life probably expired 8 years ago, but it's still brand new, you know. So those are situations that I want to avoid through, you know, putting together a program. But starting out getting the right sizes for the people we have right now, which is going to be percentage-wise, you know, ideally that's the same complement we're going to have. And it'll just give us a replacement plan to be able to see, you know, kind of forecast what we're going to need each year.
Are you happy at 15 total, or do you,
No, not at all. I mean,
what's the number?
the magic number would be about 22.
Okay.
25 would be awesome. 15 is, you know, we're making it work, but some of those guys are Russellville firefighters, and then, you know, you got like Landry Hunt, who I don't know if y'all know him, but he can't sit still, so he's going to, if he doesn't have a job here, he's going to do a job somewhere out of
What's
state.
availability? I mean, we are a volunteer fire
Well,
department.
so what we shoot for is for them to make 40% of the fire calls and 25% of the EMS calls. But like you said, it's a volunteer department, and through history, you know, it's evolved, you know, from volunteer, career volunteer, your demographics, the people that are serving, and, you know, I was talking to the county judge while I was doing something with Russellville Fire the other day, and, you know, Pottsville is the second largest town in Pope County. We have the second largest fire department in Pope County. We have the run volume reflects that. So we've got a lot of people that are really active, and then we've got the ones that just do what they can do, you know, which is every little bit helps. But ideally, if we had 22 to 25, I would sleep a lot better at night. So
There's 3 right back there that need applications.
hey,
Would we, getting those extras up to about 22, would that give us a little more leverage on the pricing? I don't know where the.
for
breakover-
turnouts,
Yeah.
yeah, there. I mean, of course, it's like anything else. The more you buy, the better deal you're going to get, and that's why what I'm hoping to do is when I get these quotes, I can look at what some of the other departments are using in the region, and then get in on their pricing. You know, say, hey, we're
Piggyback.
right,
Piggyback,
and we're just
yeah.
going to piggyback off of them, and for the most part, they'll do that, especially for a volunteer department. You know, but you've got to go with what they've spec'd out, which, you know, if a career service like Russellville or you know, Little Rock or somebody like that has spec'd it out, then that means they've had a lot of minds that wear them a lot that say, hey, this is what we feel like we need, and then they go through the value for it. So I would feel pretty good about getting a good deal doing that if I could piggyback off
I'm
somebody.
up for starting fresh,
Okay,
so,
thank you.
you know, within, you know,
Sounds
what
good.
we can.
Well, you know, my priorities, you know, is first and foremost safety, you know, for them. I've told them all. There's been 2 times in my career where I left. There was 4 of us, and only 2 of us came back. You know, and both times I was one of those 2. It's a curse or a blessing. I don't know which. But one thing I do remember from every instance that I was involved in something like that, they took those turnouts off that person and had them bagged up and shipped off for testing in an instant. I mean, like, they didn't even have them at the coroner's office yet. So that's how that's how NIOSH looks at, like, firefighter deaths, fatalities, injuries. That's the first thing they go for, you know, is, well, was their equipment within the service life? And if it's not, then that increases liability and all those other issues. So that's, I mean, it's an important part of what we do, you know, the turnouts, the SCBAs, and then the apparatus. So
It's a necessary tool, gotta have it.
gotta have it.
I've got one other question. The McAfee antivirus software, does that not come under our other
IT,
IT?
Well, so I don't know, and it's $39 for the 2
Okay.
computers. But now that's, you know, I had to do it for 1 year, and then I had to turn the subscription off. And it's, you know, it's what was on both of those computers before. So I do know that both computers are well over a year old, and they've never had antivirus software on it other than the McAfee that initially came on.
It's not
They're
in,
not.
okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure the fire department wouldn't have the same requirements like the police's, but then again, I don't know if there are special requirements.
should be a blanket coverage in my opinion.
Yeah,
See if we
that's
can-
and I think no, Brad. I asked Brad about one of the laptops that they had before, and he had thought there'd been some antivirus software that the city had provided, but like I said, I couldn't find anything for these 2 other than the initial software packages that came with them.
We
If,
can definitely get you hooked up on that.
yeah, I was gonna say, if possible, if we could see what it, you know, if they can pick up, because you have
Right.
what in the fire department too? How many?
We just have 2 computers. Yeah, we just have those 2. And like I said, I got a little just going through some of the stuff that I'm going through and the cleaning out and trying to. I just got really antsy about not having any on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's. I went in and did that.
Now, how old the computers are they?
They're not quite 2. Yeah, they're not quite 2 years old yet. Yeah, and you know we don't store a whole lot on them, but there are, you know, applications that do have demographical information, social security numbers, contact, emergency contact stuff, things like that. So I just want to make sure that we had something on them.
I'd like to see if we could check to see if we could get under the rest of our coverage, and then that way you guys
Okay.
don't have to worry about it.
Right, that'd be nice.
We can definitely do that. Not a problem.
Anything else?
Anything else? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Public Works, Riley.
Sorry, John couldn't be here today. Since the last city council meeting, Public Works has completed 30 shut-offs for non-payment and 1 remain off. We have completed 87 work orders, 10 locates, and then we have fixed the water leak in the city hall parking lot, and we have performed repairs at the wastewater treatment plant, assisted contractors at the high school, flushed water lines on East Tucker and Murray Drive, performed maintenance on our bush hogs, put out 1 pallet of pothole mix, repaired a culvert washout on Bud Chesney, and then our animal control has caught 1 dog, and we still have 4 remaining at the kennel. Did I go too fast?
We're gonna let you off easy.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. Code enforcement.
Since last council meeting, no residential permits have been pulled. 1 commercial was for Holly and Eric Edens at the RV park there on the Butterfield Stagecoach bypass. 2 plumbing inspections, 1 HVAC, 2 electrical, and 1 solar. I attended a week-long training through the code officials of Arkansas at DeGray State Park a week or 2 ago. I received a total of 28 hours of education with the 2021 IRC Building and Planning, the 2021 IBC Use and Occupancy Classifications, HVAC, and Plumbing. And I forgot to add, I actually did an hour of training today for code enforcement that Chief hooked me up with, so it was good. So.
Any questions? Thank you, ma'am. Planning and zoning. Didn't have a meeting, okay. All right. Folsom Place.
We didn't have a meeting either. We should know, by next meeting whether or not we got the grant that we applied for.
Oh, okay.
So, the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program. It was for, 60,000 that we applied for. So, keep fingers crossed, positive thoughts.
Right, exactly. No old business, new business. As Mr. Perry just kind of applied to a little bit. I have appointed him the new chief of the Pottsville Fire Department. I think he'll be a great asset for the community. Everything he's done so far has been top-notch, and I think he'll be a definite asset for this community. So I entertain a motion to approve the nomination.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Do roll call?
Kim Schreiber,
Yes.
Brenda Blaylock,
Yes.
Pete Williamson,
Yes.
Ken Carruthers,
Yes.
John Michael,
Yes.
Jesse Young.
Yes.
Congratulations, sir. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you some more.
Again. You've been here. I don't need to say welcome. But
I was trying to stay low.
yeah.
Tom Jones is not gonna be here. I talked to him this morning. He said he's not doing nothing right now, so.
I bet it's the.
Right there.
I'll turn mine off.
Yeah, I think it's that one there, like you said.
That's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
I just can't do that.
Next thing we've got on the agenda, the police department. Chief, you wanna talk about your,
So as a part of that, the grant for the, public safety grant that I applied for $50,000, 600 currently. And so, I just created a whole section, section 700, which has nothing to do but the requirements laid out by Arkansas Crime Information Center and the FBI, CJIS. And so that's what all of this policies pertain to, is just what is required by them under that section. So rather than trying to pick apart what my current policies were and try to plug all these in, it was just much simpler to just create a whole new section just for the ACIC usage. And that kept it separate from what our accreditation required policies for the Arkansas Chiefs Police Association requires for that accreditation, and the International Chiefs of Police as well. And that just gives us another section. I did contact the Chiefs of Police Association, and they have not, as of yet, and why I don't know, there's so many agencies, because everybody is slowly transitioning over to this whole program, this whole system. Why they've not included that yet, I don't know, but they are, according to SOPs, they are starting to work on that. So, as inclusion as that total model policy, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And so that's what that whole section was that I had Holly to send off.
Now, this is just an addition to your policy already,
It's
right?
an addition to it,
Okay.
correct.
Is there anything that needs to be removed for this one to take place, or?
No, this will just be a complete addition just to meet the standards of ACIC and FBI.
Okay.
So I think you stop right now at section 600, and you're starting here at 700.
700,
For that
yeah,
purpose.
700 is just for that purpose.
Just for that
only.
one part of the policy,
Yeah.
so. No, you need approval of the policy tonight,
Yes.
and then we'll have to get an ordinance updating your policy.
No, I think y'all can do, I think y'all can, because, yeah, we'll have to do that, we'll have to do that under
I was
ordinance.
fixing to say, I think we have to do
We're
that
creating-
ordinance.
we're
We can go ahead and
creating-
approve the policy tonight, but then we'll have to do an ordinance changing,
To
to amend the
the
policy.
original ordinance.
Or
to
the
include-
ordinance, yeah.
Yeah, to include this one
Yeah.
under that.
Yeah.
Because we passed an ordinance to create the policy to begin with, I don't remember, in 2018, and then we amended it once more after that, in
Right.
like 19 or 20, and, for the accreditation. And so now we can amend it once again to
And
include
to include this here.
this ACIC.
Has everybody had a chance to look at this here? I have not read the whole thing. I've glanced through the whole thing. I think it's 60-something pages.
Well, I'll make a motion, we approve section 700.
Second.
Got a motion second?
701.1 through
700 point,
701.1.
Well, section 700, and it's 701 through.
Oh, okay.
724.
724.
Yeah.
701 through 724 then.
What he said.
Of course, there's about 7 additionals on there that
You
are
could just say all
generalized
of
policies
700.
that are just FBI.
Just for FBI.
That go beyond 24, but,
Right. Okay.
section 700 will cover it, because it's all under section 700.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to add section 700,
All of 700.
all of 700 to their policy. Do roll call?
Pam Scarver,
Yes.
Brenda Blaylock.
Yes.
Steve Williamson.
Yes.
Karen Carruthers. Yes. John Heflin.
Yes.
Jesse Young.
Yes.
All right, that is all I have. Does anybody else have anything else?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion to adjourn, and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank y'all very much.
There you go.